Transmission incoming. Connected.
Welcome today to episode 16 of Rogue and Blasted. Thanks very much for joining us. So this week we're going to be answering the question, what does tabletop-ready really mean now? So we're going to be diving into that aspect. We're obviously going to be looking at a couple of grimdark would you rathers, and stick around to the end to see who is fighting who in our who would win. This week we've got myself, Steve, and we've got Matt and Dan as well with us.
Hello.
No Connor or James this week. Ditched the Deadwood, haven't we?
Yeah.
So grimdark would you rather? Daniel, help us out.
All right. So we got one is actually a crossover with a different franchise. So would you rather be the God Emperor of Mankind in 40k or the God Emperor of Mankind from Dune?
You've been reading way too much Dune.
Nearly finished it. It's been amazing. It's really good.
Yeah. I didn't know you were reading that because I am halfway through the first Dune.
It's a great book. It really is.
They're brilliant series.
So do you know how this ends? Because otherwise we might have to scrap this would you rather, because otherwise you're going to get some pretty heavy spoilers going on there.
Well,
Steve.
no, I've read, so I'm doing it in the wrong order. I read book 2 first.
Yeah.
And then now I'm back at book 1. So I do know what happens. Yeah.
Because I'm on like book 4.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so I can't really answer this one then. Don't know what happens.
That was not the best would you rather I've ever come up with in that case.
That was awful done. You're fired.
We'll try again.
Okay.
Would you rather build... Cut it.
Start again.
So our first would you rather...
What's the first... Daniel, could you tell us what our first would you rather is, please?
Yes, it's would you rather build and paint a 2nd edition metal army from scratch, or build and paint a Warhound Titan in a week?
Warhound Titan, it was resin, isn't it? Oh, I don't want to do either of those things, Dan.
And no modern pinning going on for the 2nd edition. This is super glue and flat bits of metal.
Yeah, with arms dropping off and
air guns.
I think as painful as I think I'd probably have to do modern resin.
Modern resin.
Yeah. I just get all the kit, get kitted up.
Just really breathe that in as you're doing it.
Yeah. I can get all my modern tools out. Yeah.
That's my PPE.
What do you reckon, Matt?
Yeah, I'll take the resin. I still remember those metal days, and oh man, it was like my first dreadnought was one of the metal ones, and you needed a welder's certificate just to put it together. And I think I must have been, I don't know, 11, and I was trying to put it together with Yoo-hoo. It was terrible.
I remember dropping one of, because I think I picked up yours, Steve, when I was like a kid, and dropped it, and because it is just metal, it just shattered into like, none of the paint came off, but it was just like, back to square one. I think you were very kind about it at the time, but there was rage behind the eyes.
Yeah. Oh no. Do you know what? So I remember that really, really well. I had like a display cabinet with all of my. This is how sad I was back in. It had like a glass shelf display cabinet with all my models on it. Yeah. And I think you went to reach one and you tipped the glass shelf, and the whole army just tipped onto the floor. And it's like, yeah. But it's fine. Yeah. They all glued back together. Nice. No problem. What would you rather do, Dan?
Just to be different, I reckon I'd go 2nd edition Metal Army, because some of them were like quite cool. If you put them on modern bases, they would be legal. So turning up to like a tournament and your dreadnoughts, because like if you lose, you can do some damage with that dreadnought.
Just think, Dan, if you've got a whole 2,000 point metal army, how are you getting that out the car and in the venue? It's going to weigh
God,
reinforce the army carriers.
Spend the first 10 minutes fixing it all,
shuttling backwards into the car.
I wonder what that would weigh. That'd be so heavy. Probably buckle the table putting it out.
And you'd screw your fingers up because they were genuinely quite sharp. The amount of times I like punctured myself on a little, like, what they called the trim lines.
Yeah.
These,
yeah.
There must be someone listening who has a good portion of their army. That is, if you are that person out there listening, please let us know. Let us know how much it weighs and how often you have to re-glue the arms on.
Steve will do you a free commission if you send us photos.
Edit here. Right, Dan, you got any more for us?
Yes. Would you rather be shot by a warp spider or be hit with a harlequin's kiss?
So warp
I can't
spider
explain what
has
happens.
the monofilament web thing, right? That
So it's just a cloud of
crushes you and cuts
monofilament
you.
wires.
Yeah.
And the harlequin's kiss is basically like a big metal spike that he sticks in you, and then more monofilaments just go and spurt out of it.
Oh, that's nasty.
Yeah, it's like a really bad paper cut.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, again, they both sound absolutely horrific, don't they?
Wouldn't want to go swimming afterwards.
I think I'd rather be killed by a warp. I think just they're both horrific deaths. I think I'd rather be killed by a warp spider than a
Can you
harlequin. I
show
don't know
your
why.
working, please?
Not really. No.
Okay. Yeah. All right, Matt.
Is the warp spider more of a blast and you're dead, or is it prolonged? And is the harlequin's kiss a bit more like once and then multiple after that?
I think the harlequin's kiss is sort of like it hits you, and then over the period of like a minute or so, just extreme pain and you die. I got the impression from the warp spider though, like if you get in the cloud, if you kind of like stop,
All right.
it might be fine. But then if you breathe,
Well, I'm good at holding my breath. That's how I do my
yeah, that's what
animal
we've
spray.
seen. Nice.
Yeah.
Keep
going,
Matt.
Matt,
Keep going.
Right.
Yeah. I've been quite cavalier about painting with enamels. Just like crack a window. I'm assuming that's fine.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. The faces you both made after that didn't fill me with confidence, Matt.
Like,
yeah,
I
if
spent
you're-
most of my early professional career breathing petrol and diesel fumes. I'm sure I'll be fine.
Okay, all right, nice.
Just as a side hobby, or
Yeah, just
right. Thanks for those, Dan. On to the main topic. So, what does tabletop ready really mean now?
Where this might be our first question, but when and where did the term specifically come from? Was it an official like Games Workshop in the rule book? Your thing has to be tabletop ready, or has it just come from the community?
I think it was a kind of an early GW thing. Not that, because you had like the heavy metal style, which was like up on the shelf. That was like, that's what but it didn't have, I think I could be completely wrong, but I always took it as they used to call it that, as this was achievable for most people and was like the starting point, if you like, in terms of, this and metallics, blah, 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 blah. And I think that's kind of maybe where it started, more that this is what you should aim for when you're starting.
Because I
like,
think, as you said, I think I remember seeing that in old White Dwarfs, they would have like, or old codexes maybe, you'd have like 3 images of like this base, this layer, this thing, here's your tabletop ready, and then they would have another thing about if you want to add more details and stuff like that.
Hang on. They still do.
But
I have a codex to hand.
So is that the Votan Codex by any chance, man?
That is the Votan Codex.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Well, you
It's
on
just
the
sitting down here next to my army case.
No. Where'd you get the army case from?
Well, tabletop.
Flawless advertising.
Still on the Citadel app.
Yeah.
It talks about tabletop ready.
Okay. Well, I think
So
it's...
it gives you like a colors list for what would make your your model tabletop ready.
But they still have this kind of. This is the combat patrol that shows like the stages to get basic basic shading, basic colors, and it's still quite even the combat patrol magazine. It's full of that kind of basic how tos to get get it on the table and get it looking pretty good. So
how it's realistic do you reckon those are for someone if you're coming into the hobby, you've never picked up a paintbrush? Doable?
Yeah,
I think so. I mean,
probably,
it's not overly...
It depends on skill level, really.
That's what
it's not so much the like if you want to go by Citadel's version of tabletop ready, it's literally just a base coat. So getting the base coat down, that's it. That's pretty much it. Or base coat and then a wash.
A wash,
which anyone can do, but obviously more practice makes it a lot cleaner, neater. And if you're coming in, maybe you painted like other like Airfix models, or you're an artist or something, you're going to adapt to that really probably by second or third model. You'll be getting it quite neat and clean, but it's down to equipment as well. Like if you've got a decent brush, whereas if you're using, your Humbrol brush and another plug, orange brushes are
orange
worth
brushes
checking
are
out.
I mean, while we're here, have you heard of Entoyment over in Poole? It's a great.
Entoyment? I think I've heard of it.
Yeah.
So, and the difference
yeah.
being here between maybe tabletop ready and tournament ready?
Yeah.
Because tournament very
Easily
specific, isn't it?
confused, right? Because until
I think
literally this conversation, I thought it was the same thing pretty much. But is it? I don't know.
I question if it is, because I just think the tournament is, what is it? Is it 3 colours on a base?
Yeah.
So that's all they really look for. And that could easily be just, let's just pick Ultramarines, for example. You paint them blue, you paint the bolter mostly red, and you add a wee blodge of metallics, and you dip it in a base, and that's it. While I think tabletop ready, looking at what we've seen from Games Workshop, is more that, like you were saying, Steve, is the base with the shade, metallics with a wash. I think it's a little bit more than what I've seen in what we consider the tournament standard as a base. Not that ultimate players paint to that level, but more that this is the baseline requirement for you to be tournament ready.
Okay. So tournament ready is really super, super basic.
Super basic.
Yeah. So realistically, if you're just going for that tabletop tournament sort of level, you could probably, if you're really not sort of caring about it, get say 1,000 points done in a day or two. Like just rattle can, layer, maybe a wash and a base.
You probably
kind of
could. Yeah, you probably could. Very basic. You could probably get away with it.
How would you two feel about fielding that Army Day? That's the thing.
I wouldn't, but that's me.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between painters and players. That's the difference here. If somebody they're more of a player, they just want to compete. They change the list regular because they're going with the faction that's maybe in flavour or whatever. Then they're not going to want to spend 8 weeks, 12 weeks painting an army. They want to they've got 4 weeks for the next tournament.
Yeah,
but then look at people like Connor. Like Connor would not field an unpainted army, and he is a little bit of a painter. He does a bit of painter, but he wouldn't field something that didn't look good, even though he's not a full-on hobbyist, is he?
Yeah. So what would happen if, I don't know, some game-breaking update came out for Tau and was basically just like, right, 13 crisis suits is now the most powerful thing in the game. Do you reckon he would wait on
100%.
getting stuff done, or do you reckon he would just get something in the meantime?
I think Connor specifically would field his existing army, but he would just work very quickly be like,
and he'll start adding to it.
What would say for you two? So say for Matt, what would you consider as tabletop ready for you? Not in general, but for what you're putting out.
Bottom line, I've got to be happy with it. And a lot of it comes down to process. And I'm not a big fan of painting one colour and slapping a wash on it. I like to do underpainting with overlays of Zenithal, so we get a bit variety very quickly. So like Votan, for example, I base coat them in a really deep purple, and then I do 3 Zenithal layers with airbrush. So I go from deep purple, magenta, red, then orange. So I've got that almost like an ombre purple through orange that sits in all the shadows then. So it gives an interesting depth to the armour with very little effort. And you'll do 10 warriors in 40 minutes. And then I just sponge on the same top colour because all the layers below, the orange is never as strong as it is out the bottle. So then you can sponge on the same orange and it's more intense, and that's your chipping. And at that point, armour's done.
That's awesome.
And then you're just on the details. So you can knock them out pretty quick. And then that's where I then, some just painting the legs grey.
Yeah.
I'll put a wash on that. do your metallics, weapons black, and you're kind of almost there. And then it's OSL and you're out the door.
I would love to see like a step-by-step of these. Like, no, genuinely for your next models, if you could just get like photos.
Aye.
Yeah, that'd be well helpful.
I mean, kind of figured out, I do the same thing for Space Wolves.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, just a different color palette. And it's so quick to smash them out. And that's what I found is that style of army painting not only looks good, but it's quick.
Yeah.
And for me, that's tabletop. I could go
So
further on with it, but at this point, I'm happy with that.
Do you think it's more a matter of speed then, like for each individual? Is it what can you produce in a certain amount of time? Because obviously you're Matt, like you're very well practiced. You've got a great process down. Like you're a accomplished painter, so you can get a lot done in an hour. Whereas, someone else who maybe their first couple of years of the hobby, or they're not, not down for the painting or whatever.
I think that was it when I first started. It would take me 8 hours to paint a Marine. And you're like, I'm never going to get an army painted. And then the more hours I put in, and I realised it's not about fancy tools, fancy brushes, Patreons or anything. It's just time behind the brush is what it comes down to. And then suddenly when you're painting 3-4 hours a day, you get quick. And unfortunately, there's no secret to it. It's just time and a little bit of process. Once you start to understand the process and you kind of click with it, then that does help. And honestly,
How much would your process there of sort of how much would that translate to then something if you're doing like a box art style commission, like something in the Rogue style where it's like really super crisp and clean? Would that transfer across, or would that be a different process because you
completely
maybe
different process?
Okay. Yeah,
it's a very different process. Some things can be similar, but because you're doing box art and it's a very different style, then it's a complete. It's actually in some ways I find box art really comfortable because there's nothing to think about.
Yeah,
it's just very formulaic, isn't it?
It's very formulaic. It's like I don't have to worry about shadows or lighting or battle damage or OSL. Usually, sometimes it is OSL elements, but typically it's just like I know that panel's all grey.
It's so funny to hear.
Highlights and these are the colours.
And the line and the highlight goes here and here
and here
and here. The next part goes here and here. Like
I find that quite funny because I know, Steve, obviously you're sort of like that's your specialty is those like amazing like full on box art like hero piece like box art stuff. But I look at that and I get properly like don't know where to start. It really sort of throws me through a loop. But then when it comes to the grime and stuff, like when you see the Tyranids up close, like enamels everywhere, like sort of overrun paint and stuff. But I quite like basically getting loads of stuff on it and then removing it to sort of make it work. That to me makes sense with the sort of the organic stuff, but I've always been hopeless at doing the sort of metals and stuff.
Well, just to rewind a tiny bit. A tiny bit. No, just on what you're saying. So your Tyranids, would you say they're tabletop ready, or would you say they're a bit below or a bit above? Where would you pitch those?
I'd say about 1,500 points of them are tabletop. But then also, I think I would say my standards are maybe not the same as in quality of mats, but that same thing of I have to look at them and be like, I like that model. It doesn't need to be perfect, but it needs to be like, I can look at it and go, that's basically done.
Okay.
I think a lot of them need eyes finishing off. But they're Tyranids, no one can see it anyway.
Yeah, so I, as like a objective outside person, I would say that both of you, but just specifically looking at Tyranids now, they're well above what I would think is tabletop ready.
Oh, 100%.
Well, way above.
Way above.
Sweet.
And the same for your Votan.
Thank you, guys.
I'd say the Votan was like dusted off tabletop ready about 3 steps ago. So I think both of you.
But I think it's
for you, that's the minimum standard that you would put them out on the table and want people to look at that model and associate it with you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
How about here? The idea of, because I think did just a couple of Scout Marines the other day, and the first thing Steve said was drill the fucking barrels.
Oh yeah, drill your barrels.
Does the barrel have to be drilled?
Yes.
Dan, the
hate
drill.
drum barrels, but it
I
has to
think
be
I
done.
even sent you a link to the electric drill. It costs like 10 quid probably, and
Yeah.
it's a game
Oh.
changer. It just elevates the model so much.
I use my DeWalt.
Oh, there goes his head.
If I put another hole in my finger. But I've got a question for you, Steve. So you drill the barrel. Do you drill the side one as well?
Yeah, got to drill all the way through. Got to see daylight through every aspect.
I'm trying to think back because
So you have
James's
yeah,
Imperial
so
Fist
do you know-
yesterday. I
do you
could
know
have
what he's
sworn there
talking
was
about
one
now?
or two undrilled barrels in there, but maybe I'm imagining it.
what in James's
James's,
army.
yeah.
There might have been on the bigger weapons.
Shocking.
No,
Um,
I'm just pulling your leg here. I think they do it right.
So I think I'm probably a little bit. So when you guys look at your armies, like a finished model, are you happy with it? Do you look at your model and think, oh yeah, I like that, I've done well?
Mm,
If I didn't like it, it wouldn't be finished.
Okay. Dan?
not entirely, but I think it's because they basically will get to a certain stage, and it's the Homer Simpson looking at a barbecue thing, where he's got in one hand just like this beautiful picture in the, like, I don't know, the web page I found or something, and then you look at yours and you're like, why doesn't mine look like that? But they're getting closer, and I feel like that's because, I sometimes have to remind myself, like, this is a hobby you're doing for fun.
Yeah.
So like,
And
it's
that
not
is
100% perfect. It's like people are
Yeah.
saying nice things about it. There must be something good going on. But then I feel like that's maybe a good thing as well, to also be like, oh, I could do this better. Or I've had to teach myself to stop painting when I'm like just rushing stuff, because I find I paint for like 2 hours, which will be really nice and relaxing, and then I'll be like just painting like black carapace or something, and I'll start just like trying to get through it and just using loads of paint and getting thick, and I'm just like, you're not enjoying it at this point because you've been doing it for 2 hours. Just take a break, come back in a bit, and you're like, oh, this is fun again. All of a sudden, it's like,
That's a real specific hazard with commission painting, because you obviously want to get stuff done. You're not doing it necessarily for yourself, for the enjoyment. You do drop into that, like you can feel yourself rushing it and making mistakes. So it's important at that point to take a break.
And unfortunately, when it's not your army, you can't just be like, that'll do.
That'll do.
It's why I don't enjoy batch painting, because I get to that. Any more than 2 models, I keep missing bits and I have to go back over stuff. So I typically do, when it comes to army painting, like I was explaining, I do all the airbrush work because I can do that in a one-hour, and I typically just go model to model, and I do one, finish it, next one, finish it, next one, finish it. I just really struggle with doing like a batch. I just can't do it. Don't enjoy it.
I think there's been a mate, because I got a bunch of monsters basically for the tuners, and doing those big guys is so satisfying after doing batches of like 20 termagants, and then you get to spend like just a week just doing like a T-Fex or something like that. Is really, really nice.
But that's a good way to break it up if you are doing like a big army. Good way to break it up, to small squad character. Try and reward yourself with these little breadcrumbs as you go on. Yeah, I generally I don't like my models even when they're done.
Yeah,
I don't get a lot of satisfaction. I'm a bit odd. Like I don't.
Do you
and
find
that's
there might
why-
be, sorry, just to ask a question about this, do you find
That's
you
all right.
might have like
Yeah.
a head of a model or the shoulder or some aspect of it where you're like, I'm really happy with this, but there'll maybe be a different part of it where you're like, oh, I should have done this different, or I should have tried this? Or are you just maybe not quite?
Not really. No, I really can't work out the psychology of it, but I think that's why I sit better with the box art style, because it is a bit formulaic, and it's almost like, well, even if I don't like it, I think, well, I've ticked all the boxes, so it must be done.
Yeah.
And and normally, like if I then look at pictures of it 6 months later, I might kind of begrudgingly say, oh, okay, the customer was really happy. I can come back to it later and think, oh, okay, like actually that was, I was quite happy with that. But that's why with the blasted style, like doing it Matt's way, or doing something that was a bit more like your way down, like rough and ready, I think I'd really struggle with doing that and then keeping it, because I'd always be looking at it thinking, did I make the right creative decisions? Like, does it, because there's a lot more interpretation there. It's a lot more like Matt, the way you place lights and where you put chipping and down where you throw those inks, like that would send my head into a bit of a spin, I think.
Fair.
Yeah, but I think it is. That also comes back to. Well, no, I do imagine because you said you want to enter some competitions this year, didn't you? I wonder if you like place like first in sort of a competition. Do you reckon then you'll be happy, or do you reckon you'd still be like, eh?
I'd probably think my head would think, well, the competition wasn't good enough.
No.
But
starting
Dan,
to think this might be less about the painting and more about like
more about my broken brain. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Dan, you've just reminded me, Matt,
Yes. Well,
Matthew, we
yes.
need your 2026 goal.
Yeah.
What is my 2026 goal?
And don't say finish 2,000 points worth in Photan in 2 months.
I mean, it's the
Although you
16th
can,
of January.
you can.
He's nearly done it.
Shall I come back to you in a minute?
Yes. And I'll make the same face, and then I'll make some trouble.
Somewhere in the subconscious. So we're actually doing pretty well. I've got a little honesty tracker here. So Dan, one of yours was finish 2,000 points of Tyranids.
Nearly done.
The other one was to beat James, and you've achieved both of those. It's January 16th. You're going to need some new goals.
I'd say just quickly, in case James is listening, did one of those twice. So,
yeah, good. Take that, James.
Nice job. Nice
I
job.
just didn't believe it. I've never seen worse shooting from both of us. Just like the dice were just like ones and twos the whole time. So he emptied out like 2 Dreadnoughts, a Lancer, and I think maybe a Predator at 1 T-Fex. And it just sort of shrugged it all off and nothing happened. But then it was my turn and I did everything back against tanks. And again, just nothing happened. So we got to like the top of turn 3. And I think I'd lost like 2 Leapers and he'd maybe lost a couple Scouts. And I was just like, there should not be this much left on the board. Like, it's pretty mad.
Funny with the dice, just, yeah,
they just don't want to play.
Oh,
Yeah.
well done,
yeah,
Dom.
sorry for a little sidetrack there. Yeah. So
That's right.
got you.
But Steve, you haven't sort of told us what you would think of as when you go to play tabletop. What sort of standard would you want to? Would you want something that's like representative of Rogue as a company? So then it's probably all got to be like the very tip top sort of painting style, or would you be comfortable having sort of maybe stuff done to a slightly lower standard? Or
so I kind of been having this dilemma a little bit because I do want to have like an army to play with this year, and I started off with my sister's army and fell into my usual trap of like really overdoing each model. So now I'm looking at it thinking, do I really want to paint a whole nother squad that's going to take maybe 50 hours?
yeah,
Not that long, maybe sort of 25, 30 hours.
still though, that's a long time, mate. I get why.
Yeah. But then when I look at them, even in my kind of overly critical view, like I like the way they look, and I do pick them up every now and then. I'm like, oh, it would be nice to play with these.
I did do a great job on this.
Begrudgingly, I'm like, oh, these aren't crap.
Yeah.
But I would like it. But so they're massively over-engineered. I didn't need to go as far as that. So I think in my head and my standard, if I was just to rein myself in, I think probably base coats, then a wash, and then first highlight. I could probably stop there with that box art style and think, you know what, that's good enough to put out. Yeah, I'd have to get a lot of the other elements, like, you know, the color would have to be right, and, you know, execution would have to be pretty good. But you're still talking about a lot there, because there's not much to go take it from that to what we'd call, or used to call, advanced and elite standard with Rogue. There's only a couple of extra highlights on like most of the models. So it's over-engineered at that point. So that's why I've been looking at doing like a simpler kind of what we call blasted style. But again, that has its issues in my brain with like, it won't be that neat. What's the process? So I don't know really. Like I went to the local GW and another local gaming store. Wasn't in Toyment, the greatest place on earth, according to Dan and James. And James. And they had a lot of models on display that literally were base coats.
Yeah.
And I was looking at them and thought, you know what, like it looks fine when they're out on the table. Like, I don't know what my problem is really. So it's almost like if someone else does it, it's fine. If I do it, it needs to be different, and I hold myself to like a
100%.
different.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay, it's not just me then.
You're not going to turn up and criticize anybody's army. You're like, they look really good. You did a good job. And then if it was you, you'd be like, these look.
Yeah,
I can't put that in the table.
But I genuinely don't think like that.
Oh,
But if I'm looking at
mad.
someone else's models, like I genuinely don't think, oh, that
You
looks
don't.
rubbish. I
No,
just
you
think, like, I don't.
If anything, the opposite most of the time you go in, you're sort of like, I know I was doing it yesterday at Entoyment, was peeking over at the other tables and you can just see all these things and you're just like, oh, like that looks cool and that looks cool.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I mean, there are definitely exceptions to that. There have been times when I've just thought, really?
Some questionable kit bashes, maybe.
Yeah, or just you just think, oh, like you could do better than that. And I'm not much of a painter. You just think you don't have to, even if you just gone with the rattle can and just at least got a complete base coat down.
Look,
People
James
don't
isn't
even
here to
bother with
defend
doing that.
himself. I think it's a bit.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to see James's tabletop-ready version. That'll be.
I've got
very
faith in
interesting.
him. I reckon, it's
You
going to be
reckon?
good. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, all right, say someone's not brand new, but they've got, I don't know, a new army for Christmas or the beginnings of a new army like a battle force. How would you guys sort of recommend they look at then turning that into a battle-ready army if they're not the most experienced painters? What are the sort of steps and processes? Maybe they've got a bit of experience with painting, but they might not have, say,
because
the airbrush setup. And
the advice is going to be different depending on what.
Yeah.
And it's a hobby, isn't it? So it's what do they want out of it?
That's
But
it. I mean,
it's-
there's two
how
things.
long's a piece of string?
yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it's like, you could break it into two camps. You've got your heavy metal style and then your more blasted style, if you like. And it's what road they want to go down, because I actually really enjoy painting standard heavy metal style. I love painting. It's such a quick process. It's just about color choice in terms of your edge highlight, not too light, not too dark. And it can actually look really good really quickly. And you don't have to worry about, airbrushing, or you can, single layer rattle can, just get a good even layer down and then do your edge of highlights and your metallics. And you can actually, just a bit of practice, you'll be amazed how quickly you'll come on. But if they want to go down more the army blasted grittier style, then you can rely on sponges and chipping and not worry about edge highlights and still get really good, or dry brushing. There's so many different ways to do it that does not take high levels of skill. You're always going to come down to the fine detail stuff is where you're going to need to practice, putting your eyes, doing your transfers and your metallics. It does take, but what I've found in the workshops I've done, it's not so much about, it's about when you do them, not how you do them. So it's, picking the moment where you need to be tidy and when you don't need to be. So like on a bolter, do your metallics first, because that's the trickiest bit. So if you get any overspill, your next layer is going to cover that up anyway. So you're not going over things. So it's just about when to apply the paint more than anything, and in what level. So you minimize the time spent being careful, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
One careful layer tidies up all the loose ends. Yeah.
That's especially true if you're going to go down like the oils and streaking grime route, because but streaking grime and oils cover up all kinds of sins, don't they? You can be super loose with it, and then inks,
Case in point, does too.
yeah. But yeah, it and again, it's, I guess, tabletop ready for me is, what is that person happy to put in front of them and say, I painted this?
Yeah.
And that's going to change as well. What you're happy with this year, next year, you might look back at and just think, you know what, like, God, I've come on a long way. Or you might look back at that and just think, you know what, I've got no interest in the painting side. And it's great because I've had a painted army for a year, albeit very simple. But yeah, I just, with the gamers, would definitely agree. I just think like the game is, everyone says that it's better with painted army in front of you. You can't get away from that.
Regardless of standard.
Yeah.
Regardless of the standard.
Yeah,
I've had to use like some half painted stuff every now and then, 1 or 2 grey units, and they're always like, the first thing that takes a wound, and we're like, right, get rid of the grey shit, that's gone.
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
swapping in different
yeah.
psychophages to make sure the painted ones on the table makes no difference. But to me, I'm like, well, that's better.
I did the same thing last week. I was just
Did you?
yeah,
nice.
because I had like I had one Sangator was painted, one isn't, and I was like Berserkers were like half finished and one like not finished, and when both died, I swapped them out.
Yeah.
It's just I could keep the
gotta be
painted
done.
models on the table.
Yeah.
It just looks
So
better.
there's a reason that we do that. I say we. You guys do that.
I was expecting, if I'm honest, you two to say the best way of getting that new army on the tabletop looking good would probably be
Get it
some kind of commission painting service.
I mean, it's a quick way of doing it, but if you're in it for the painting aspect of it, then you should at least give it a go.
Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, you could get us to do it, and we'll do a bang up job, and it'll look great, and you'll get it back in 8 weeks or whatever. But at the same time, it's a big part of the hobby. I think have a go first, and if it's not for you, great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But at least give it a go.
Just just have a go, and if you hate it, great. Like you know
At least
that
you know.
yeah, but you never know. You might find like, oh, this is really enjoyable and relaxing, and maybe I'm going to do a bit of this on the side. Or there's even an argument that even if you really don't like it, and you want to go and get every single model commissioned from that point onwards for the rest of your life, great. But at least you know a little bit about what you're asking someone to do and what you're committing.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
That commission process, and you'll know a tiny bit about: is this a good commission? This is a bad commission. It's not a bad thing to know that.
Yeah,
because even as a painter, when I came back into the hobby, when I was looking at models, I was thinking for a while, everything above a certain level looked absolutely incredible to me. And now, having done more painting myself, being in the hobby for longer, now I can see that continuum a bit more and what really is absolute top tier and what's kind of pretty good and what's not so good, etc.
Okay, nice. Yeah, because what do you reckon is, say, people who do go commission route, what's the normal composition of that army, do you reckon? Because I've got some friends who have maybe just got like their hero unit or a demon prince or the captain done. So because also when you're looking at an army, your eye's going to that model first anyway, and then do the rest themselves. Or some people more like Connor who are just like, no, I love the scheme, I love how they look, and it's just all out.
I think you get two camps. You get some painters who are actually pretty good and they want the big units for themselves, so they'll take on the demon princes and give all the infantry for commission. Or like you said, the other way around, they'll do all the infantry and put the big models out to commission. So it's like a big statement piece. You get both.
And you get a lot of people as well who do it bit by bit, or they'll commission. So most commission painters, studios, they'll have like their different tiers. So you can get the lower level troops done at like tabletop-ready.
Yeah.
You can get others done at a higher detail level, so you pay a bit more, and then you can have like your standout characters. So yeah, it kind of takes all sorts really. But I think most people probably, this is what they do. They'd either paint or get their mates to paint, or get a very inexpensive commission service to do all the troops. Just tabletop-ready or something very, very basic, and then they'd get characters done by someone like myself or Matt.
Nice.
Usually, but takes all sorts. And I've seen some people who've started off commissioning, and then they've used that as like a learning point. So then they'll go away and come back like, oh, I've sort of tried to replicate the model that you did, and I've seen their painting like come along until eventually they've sort of outgrown commission painting. Actually, they're doing a lot more themselves. So that's like another. Yeah, it's really
nice.
Nice
I suppose as soon as you're doing it for someone else, you don't have the luxury of when you're doing it for yourself. You can just be like, that'll do. When you're doing it for someone else, you're like, no, I have to get to this standard that I've set. So if I can't quite get it right, I need to figure out how it is done, and then go for it.
Yeah, the drawback of getting commissions done across like different people and yourself and a commission painter or different commission painters is that there's always going to be a small difference.
Yeah. Well, I've got that across my army. Like it just happens. Like
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like there's once or twice where I've maybe done like just a different step in a slightly different order because I was missing a paint or a brush. And you can't, like, I don't know if other people can see it, but I definitely can. But then I think we were saying earlier on, you are always your own worst critic with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've not seen either of your armies up close, but just in pictures, your army looks very cohesive. Like I wouldn't be able to pick out one that was a lot better than others, but that is through photographs, so
Yeah.
it is difficult
Yeah.
to tell. It's difficult to tell.
Sweet.
What's our final verdict then, do you reckon? So tabletop ready, is that dependent on each person, or do you think we can say there's not really like a set criteria, is there?
Yeah, I think it's... Sorry, Matt, go for it.
No, you.
Yeah, I think it's, like we said, it all boils down to what you're happy to put in front of you. And whatever that is what you consider tabletop. I get why tournaments have that, like, you must have a certain amount of colours and things on, but yeah, as a not massive tournament player, just more someone who enjoys doing it for the sort of hobby side, I want to look at it and be like, oh yeah, I'm glad I put that much time into it. Plus, I think arguably I prefer that side of the hobby, is just sitting there and sort of painting stuff anyway.
That's it. I completely agree. I think it is down to your own. Are you happy with this? Out with, as you say, the world of tournaments, then if you're happy with it, then it's tabletop ready. That's what it comes down to.
To a point. To a point.
Shut up, Steve. But you set tabletop standards no hobbyist could live up to.
Well,
Including us. I've definitely
there's
seen people...
got to be a baseline, right? There's got to be like a lowest level of acceptability.
I've seen someone pushing an egg carton around as a land raid before. I think that might be
a bit of a stretch.
Maybe it's a rhino, actually. It's a bit small to be a land raider.
No, end of the day,
that was an excellent idea.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I've yet to have a fully painted army of any description that wasn't mine. I consistently have to play with grey plastic or just undercoated, and it's such a time sink for me, let alone somebody who doesn't paint as much as I do, that it is what it is. And people want to play and they want to get games going, and there's always going to be a standard of unpainted, unfinished, I think, for most people, realistically. So take tabletop with a pinch of salt, because at the end of the day, it's just about being in the game, having fun, having a laugh with your mates, and just don't. That's my 2 cents. But I will have a fully painted army. I need to by the 20th of February, or there might be a problem.
That sounds suspiciously like a New Year's resolution, Steve.
I don't think it counts because I made it before the end of I decided I was going to Manchester with the Votan early December. So that was kind of a given. It had to happen.
I remember that discussion. You're like, I'm thinking of doing something crazy. It's like, yeah, do it. Do it. So go on, Matt. What do you? Oh, right. Very quick side note. Do you think the standard for tournament is right, or is it too low, too high?
I don't know. I've never actually been to a formal tournament as such. So, ask me after February.
Okay, I'll make a note of that.
I think Connor's mentioned maybe on one of his rants that he feels like maybe it should be a
Connor's ranting.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, must have been an off day.
Captain rants a lot.
So rants a lot.
Hey, I'm going to have an rant. In 5 minutes, as I shouted about something about Warhammer.
We're going to drift further and further away from the topic. Yeah.
So this is a Wendy's. Yeah, I think he's mentioned once or twice he would appreciate it if it was maybe like a touch higher. Yeah. I think
and from someone like in Connor's point, I can really understand that. Like, if he's obviously spent a lot of money, basically, getting his army where he wants it, and it looks great. Like his tower army looks great. His size army, thanks to Matt, is also going to look fantastic. And it would be a bit galling to put your models down and the opposite, you're next to someone who's just slapped theirs together and it doesn't look great. Like, one of his things, he likes to take pictures. So he likes to take pictures, He writes his blog and stuff. And he's like, well, even if I have an exciting battle with someone, I can't really report on that because the models look terrible. So I do get that. I do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, worse if they then thrash you as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's especially
Which
galling. Yeah,
is potentially quite likely because the people playing
Yeah.
these might be like
Yeah.
hardcore tournament guys who need like 12
Yeah.
different armies.
yeah,
Yeah, that'd be brutal.
yeah. And the bottom line, it's a hobby.
That's it. Can't take it too serious, although many do.
Can't take. Yeah,
Yeah, but no,
Yeah.
I'm going to Manchester with probably arguably a higher standard painted army than I'm expecting. I am gunning for best painted
Best
because
in
that's
show.
achievable.
Nice.
I'm not. If I win one game all weekend, I'll be happy. But certainly, I'm hoping to place with the painting side of it. And even if I don't, then it's a staging point for my next GT, which will be Edinburgh, that I can then go back over and refine the army and try and bring it up to another level for
Nice.
that.
Nice.
So
Nice, very
that's
nice.
the plan.
I think from what I've seen, mate, you're in a really good shout for that. So yeah, make sure you update us.
But
I think you're in a good shout.
but goals for this year.
Golden Demon?
I have a model for it. I had a plan.
What is
Nice.
it?
So I got the Athean Shad,
Ah.
the Ravenwing sitting.
Love that
But
model.
I don't know.
Which one's this,
I
sorry?
don't know. That's the Ravenwing Chapter Master. He's kind
Yeah,
of
Raven Guard.
Ravengard. Sorry,
Chapter-
Ravengard. Ravenwing. That's
Dark
Ravengard.
Dark
Angels.
Angels.
For
Yeah.
Dark Angels.
Come on, Matt, boy. Needs another coffee. Look, he's sagging. He's like,
I don't know. I swear not.
do you think it? Well, okay. Well, do you think maybe we'll come back to you next time? But do you think it'll be more painting or gaming side, or maybe a combination of both? Or
I would like to place in a tournament, not a tournament, a painting comp, whether it's locally or online. But I don't. Yeah, but it's just I'm tempted by Golden Demon. If it's in Essen again, that could be an issue, just travel wise. I'd like to see it come back to the UK, and it might with 11th edition.
Yeah.
I think I'd definitely go for it, but a lot of it comes down to time. Whether or not I could sink 100 hours into a model, I'm not sure I could. I don't know if I'm there yet, to be honest.
Is that
Yeah.
generally the sort of commitment you're making when you're doing Golden Demon then?
If you want to win, I
Yeah.
think you are
At
looking at that. And I don't know how I could. At the minute, I can't physically understand or see how a model could take 100 hours to paint. Glazing for days. And I don't know if I've got the patience, I'll be honest.
So I've seen people glaze. I'm still not entirely sure because I've tried using at least Games Workshop glazes on models. Didn't really do anything apart from just
You're doing it wrong.
discolored the bits. Yeah, I assume I am. But this is I'm coming to you guys for advice. What's going on?
Yeah, so just to put it into context slightly, so last year I had this idea that I'd do Farsight for some sort of painter competition. Just thought I'd start, and after about 15 hours, I think I had done upper thigh, and basically all I was doing. So I'd laid out the sort of the lighting gradient. So I'd done like a light area of the panel, some reflected light area of the panel, and then the shaded bit of the panel. And all I was doing for like 5 or 6 hours was glazing, was blending those different colored.
Yeah.
So I maybe had like, say, 5 different shades in a gradient plus a different area. And then you've got to like make the join blend and go away. So it looks, and it
Okay.
just, yeah. So, you're talking about super, super watered down paint, very finely controlled, so easy to make mistakes. And then because when you're also trying to balance when you're watering down paint that much so that you're getting a very, very gradual build-up of color, you're also breaking down the sort of components of the paint. So you very quickly lose control. So you're trying to balance getting that gradient, blending it all. Yeah, exactly. But that's just me talking about it. That's just me talking about it, let alone
That's why I don't think I could do it.
Yes. I think there's one model that I spent a long time just working on glazing grade. It was a commission. And when I look back at it now, I think, God, like it does look good, but I just think doing that for a whole model, it's an exercise in patience, and you can't sit down in a session.
Yeah.
You couldn't sit there for 10 hours.
And
then
I think that's where I'm falling short, is that I don't think I've got the patience to compete at that level, dare say locally, less of a commitment. Right, here is my New Year goal,
Yes.
because I've been wanting to do this for years.
Stop
I would
painting.
really stop painting. I'm done. Peace out.
Yeah. Oh, fuck it, I'm done.
Yeah, everyone buys some photo and they're happy. No, I would really like to do a diorama. I've never done one,
Sick.
Okay.
Yeah.
and I think it would be quite a cool thing to actually think about and do.
Any ideas? This is well exciting.
I do have one idea, which is a bit bonkers and a bit silly. That I just had this.
Let's do it.
Right. So your Herskin Jaegers they're the Wotan, they've got like the brown jackets with the fuzzy lining. I just think they look like Del Boy, like, so I just had this idea came in my head one day, and I think I was out for a run and I was just thinking about the Jaegers. I'm like, that'd be quite funny. So the diorama would be like a back alley city street, and it's like pavement. It says, no parking. And there's like a yellow Sangateur bumped up on the curb.
One wheel?
With a sign in the window that says, Inquisition on call, because they used to have the van with the midwife on call thing. And the back door would be open and this Jaeger would be selling dodgy gear out the back.
I love it. I love it.
If you're on the street as well, you could have like, maybe if you've got gutters, you could just have like the heads of Gene Silicals sort of peeking out as well. So you just got like a whole thing underneath.
Just like selling dodgy bolters out the back.
Yeah.
I've made a note of it, Matt.
That was
that's
one
it.
idea. That was one idea.
It's in stone now. You're committed to that.
And the other thing I want to do, because we've doing a lot of prep for the tournament scene. I want to do a day of like narrative 40k, and I have an idea of the idea. I would start with sort of small 500 point boarding action forces, but instead not through a space hulk, almost like through an underground mining complex where it's like a rolling retreat. So attacker defender, defenders kind of back into the attackers try to bring them down to the point where it moves on to the big board where they break out into the mining complex on the surface, and it switches because it's a trap. So the attacker then becomes the defender, and then they've got to hold out for their reinforcements. And I just thought it'd be kind of something different and a bit interesting.
Yeah.
Just would be nice to do something like that, a bit of a narrative game that was not just usual missions and usual shenanigans. Just something a bit more meaty.
Yeah, that's quite cool.
So,
That sounds awesome.
and maybe start AOS and maybe Blood Bowl. So let's go.
Okay.
No, don't write that down.
I'm writing it down.
I'm really thinking about
Kathy
AOS.
is still looking quite good
Yeah,
though, right?
Kathy, yeah.
No, I'm not going
Yeah.
on World. I'm not going on World. I think I quite like the Karadan Overlords for AOS. They're quite
Which ones?
cool. They're kind of dwarfs.
Makes sense.
Just call
Yeah,
me
nice.
Captain Carrot.
Nice.
So yeah,
Cool.
Nice, mate.
Those are good. Those are real good.
there we go.
The diorama, I think you'll have a lot of fun with because it's a whole different
Yes.
set of
It's a storytelling.
skills.
It's a bit more,
Yeah.
and best painted at a tournament would be nice. So we'll see.
Yeah. Nice.
Ah.
Diorama's an interesting. I've always wanted to do one. Steve, have you ever sort of like had a chance commission wise? Has it been something you've put together?
Only once only once. So Rogue's doing one now, but I'm not. It's another painter's dealing with it.
Yeah.
That's a massive one. It's kind of bonkers. It's a huge Dark Angel versus Chaos Space
I remember
Marines.
that one. That's been ongoing
Yeah,
for a
it's-
while, isn't it?
Yeah, it's big. There's a
Wow.
lot of models going on. Yeah.
Nice.
So the one that I did I'm still quite proud of it. It was quite small, kind of easily fit on a tabletop. It had like an Imperial kind of building and background, like Imperial ruin. Then it had 2 Space Marines. It had a Dark Angel and a Blood Angel fighting off like a Tyranid onslaught.
Yeah, nice.
It just was cool and he wanted it a bit grimdark, so I wasn't having to be too precise about everything.
Yeah.
And I did some like Imperial posters like on the ruins and stuff, and just went
Nice.
to town. It was cool. It came out nice, and
Properly get creative. I imagine you can
yeah.
get well creative in that because you don't have to worry about like, does it still need to fit on a base? Is it still legal? You
Yeah.
can just go to town and stuff.
Yeah.
Go by
Nice.
daft.
Yeah.
and the customer left it really open. It's like, I just want one Dark Angel, one Blood Angel. The rest is up to you. It's like, sweet.
Nice.
Yeah, it was good.
Cool. Always had dreams of doing. See where if you can guess where the inspiration comes from. Like a desert
Starship
diorama.
Troopers.
Yep, there we go. Desert diorama, Imperial Guard in a little fort, and then just thousands of Tyranids. And just like things bursting out the ground and chests and all the rest of it. Yeah.
Well,
I'm sure people must have done that though.
I'll pop that down in your 2026 goals, Dan.
Maybe
Committed.
2027.
Yeah, okay. Be fine. Right. So we also have to do a who would win. Matt, you've got a couple of contenders for us.
Well,
contenders.
this was a bit on the fly, but anybody that has listened to this podcast will know that I have an avid Space Wolf player and have since defected to the Leagues of Votan. And I'm offering up Bury versus Ragnar, which is
to talk us through who they are, because I must admit, I know a little bit about Ragnar. I don't know anything about Bury.
Bury, what's his name? Bury Egninrinston is the old is a sort of easy for you. Put your teeth back in. So they call him the Thrice Devoured. He was the sole survivor of High Feet Leviathan that wiped out the rest of his kin. And he's a bit bonkers, but hard as nails. And he tends to travel around with a like ragtag band of like other kind of Votan that have been kind of isolated or survivors. And he just kind of travels about, just joining armies and helping them out. I run him as my warlord, and he's just hard as nails. He is an absolute monster. He gets back up on a 2, so if you kill him, you got to kill him twice, which is quite cool. So that's what I thought. Even though Ragnar's probably hitting a lot harder, so 2 up, he gets back up again, full wounds. And
how many wounds?
He's not got made up 5.
Still, though.
But and toughness 6. 5 wounds. He runs. He's got a kind of big dark star glaive called Bane. He's got precision strike that's strength 12. Or he can sweep for a strength 6. The strikes 5 attacks, sweeps 10. So he's quite good against those old high. This word I'm looking for, like Victor Scard. He was kind of hardy boys. So he's pretty nasty,
especially if you know because you can chuck him in, die, bring him straight back, and then
he also has a vengeance move, so you shoot him, he comes further. And but because he's lone up, when you shoot him, you're really close to him.
Yeah. So fuck, I forgot about that.
Yeah. Don't piss off the dwarf. So he's pretty nasty. And then Ragnar, obviously, big Space Wolf character that we know about. He runs Frostfang, which is a big, mad, double-handed, say chain axe. It's teeth of Kraken is the blades.
Oh.
So it's a nasty blade. Tons of attacks, comically large amount of attacks. But he is just a Space Marine, and he is just a dwarf. So that's where it kind of comes down to. I thought was a kind of an even matchup.
It's a good matchup. Yeah, it's a good matchup. I like it.
So I mean,
it seems like they're pretty evenly matched, and it's going to be quite a classic kind of hand-to-hand closing in. Like a lot of our other matchups have been, this guy's got a weapon and maybe he's better at distance, or this person's slightly better. But this is like a real hand-to-hand.
I also feel like they'd both be really up for it.
Yeah.
Drinking beforehand, like, go on, let's do this.
They'd be best mates at the end of it as well, wouldn't they?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. So it's hard because there's a lore in the stats. I mean, how do you want to run this?
Okay, well, so we normally kind of look at like both. So lore-wise, what we feel is, and then compare it, I guess, to the stats. But just gut instinct, really.
I mean, lore-wise, Ragnar is fast, he's intelligent, he's calculated. I mean, I've read a lot of the books, and he's hard as even as a young wolf, he was incredible. You're charging tanks. And just leaping over the fire and dropping a grenade in the hatch and just like walking away and it blowing up behind him. That kind of classic Die Hard style. Very cool. So he's got good wits. He knows what he's doing. He is just a Space Marine though, which is what it kind of falls down to. He's only toughness 4. He's only got 5 wins.
He's
So,
also,
I mean,
dare I say, maybe quite used to having quite a few Space Marines behind him, when it sounds like
Yeah,
Bury is
it
quite used to
does.
just being like, I'm going to have to do this
On his own.
myself.
yeah. Typically, lore-wise, Ragnar always ran with black blood claws. So he always had young wolves charging him behind him. So, I mean, that would not end well. But whereas a one-on-one, this is they've been caught in the open on their own.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Bury's got the advantage there.
I think so.
Mm.
That said, what's the new? Yeah, so Ragnar's hitting on a strength 6. If he charges, which is more than possible because, Votan have only got wee legs. He
Is that
gets a
him
couple extra
charging?
attacks.
No.
Yeah. So he gets a couple extra attacks in. So yeah, it's hitting him 10 times with sustained 1. So he's going to hit him lots of times. What falls down is the toughness of the dwarf.
Strength.
6.
Okay. Not terrible.
So, but he's winning on 4s, which isn't great.
So half of those basically are
55.
wounding.
Is it effectively? No. So I think he could kill him.
So you basically, he's got to roll quite lucky and kill him in one turn.
Yeah, he could.
Because if
he
Bury
lands,
strikes back, he's
dead.
Yeah.
Bury's wounded him on 2s.
Oh wait, but then also, even if he does kill Bury in
He's
one
going to
go,
get back up again.
he gets back up.
He's like, oh yeah, beastie.
He'll just be waiting there, be like, "Come on, up you get."
So I mean, yeah. So he's going to be wounded on 4s. He could kill him. He does 2 damage a piece. If 5 of his 10 hit, Bury's dead. But he's likely going to get back up again. And then he's hitting him.
Yeah.
I think Bury's got it. I'll be honest.
You reckon?
I think so.
It does sound like it. It does sound like it. I mean, it doesn't feel right, but I think you're right.
Yeah, that weapon profile is just disgusting.
I think it would play out like this. I think they'd go at it and they'd just be smashing the crap out of each other.
Yeah,
and then at some point, their eyes would meet and they'd think, why are we doing this? Let's go and have a drink.
Right.
Yeah, let's go and get
Yeah, but then they'd drink too much. One of them would say something to the
Yeah,
other
they
one.
start again.
Just
Yeah,
back to the whole thing. Yeah.
And then
yeah,
who
I
can
think-
handle their
yeah.
drink better? It's going to be a space wolf over a dwarf, isn't it?
Dwarves are
Ooh,
famous
there's
for
the
like.
question. Quaffing.
A debate for another day, I think.
That's a debate for another. But I think with his stand
Would you
back up,
rather?
I
Would
think, would you rather? Would you rather
rather
drink a
get
dwarf
drunk?
under the table or a space wolf under the table?
No.
But yeah, I think Bury's got it. I mean, that bench strike at a strength 12 minus. Well, he's gotten his 4-up invuln both of them. But I think if he lands 2, Ragnar's dead.
Goodbye,
That's
Ragnar.
fucked, mate. Yeah.
Thank you for your service to
Chinned.
the Imperial.
Well, chinned by a dwarf. Can you be chinned by a dwarf? Maybe it's just
Ankled by a dwarf.
just
Ankled.
ankled. So,
Oh, nice.
poor Ragnar.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks. Yeah, poor old Ragnar. Sweet. Thanks very much, you guys.
Happy days.
Very enjoyable.
Woo.
Matt, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Old Varg. That's where I live. Come find me. I am literally 6 followers off 4,000. So if you don't follow me, please come and follow me and make me happy.
Unfollow Matt.
Yes, just a good plan for it.
Dan, you've got your TikTok on the go now, haven't you?
Very vaguely. I've been pretty bad with actually uploading stuff, but I am going to start putting more up there. So it'll be lots of basically podcast content from this and the Tyranids as they are finished, and anything else that might be slightly on the horizon with a lot of planning going into it. You'll see it when it comes.
Mysterious.
I mean, I think we all know it's going to be a Chaos Night, but yeah, there we go.
Nice. Thanks, Dan. Thanks. If you want to get in touch with us at the show, you can send an email to studio@rogue-miniatures.co.uk. If you're a fan of battle reports and you haven't already found Daily Dice, please go and check them out. They do regular reports with some really nice looking armies. You're going to have Sam from Daily Dice on in a couple of months' time, and Connor is also going to go and do a battle report with them at some point. First time they've ever had Tao on the show, apparently.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Yeah, it'd be good. It'd be nice to get his his guys out on the table. So that's it from us. Thanks very much for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Peace. Cheers, guys. Woo!
Rogue transmission ending.